Welcome to Meaningful Mondays with the Community Foundation of Middlesex County, where we only know good people who do great things in our community. Whether you are a volunteer, a donor, or a nonprofit organization, each episode of Meaningful Mondays will celebrate you, our friends and neighbors who have a deep passion for and commitment to improving the quality of life for all in Middlesex County. So let's kick off the week with great conversations with remarkable people, businesses, and nonprofits making a difference right in our own backyard. Well, welcome everyone to Meaningful Mondays. I have to say every day in Middlesex County is meaningful, but we're particularly fond of Mondays because it gives us an opportunity to talk to the people in the county that make things tick and that do so much for our wonderful community. And I am so honored to have Leland McKenna with us, who is, let me make sure I get this right, Leland, the Vice President of Planning and External Affairs for Middlesex Health. Do I have it right?
That's perfect, Cynthia.
Okay, so first of all, Leland, define what your role is at Middlesex Health, because we think so often about the hospital and all the ancillary spaces that Middlesex Health has for illnesses and prevention of illnesses. But I know there's so much else that goes into it, and the external affairs portion of it, because not only do you keep us healthy, but you keep the community healthy too. So could you just explain your role?
Yeah, of course. So first of all, thank you very much for having me. I really look forward to this conversation, and I'm really excited just to share 30 minutes with you. So my position at Middlesex Health is, the way I describe it is a lot of it's all of the non-clinical activities that go on for Middlesex Health. And so directly the marketing department, public relations, relationships with the community, sponsorships, relationships with the Chamber of Commerce's, with other nonprofits in the area. I am kind of the point person or the face of the organization out in the community. But also within my position, I own the strategic planning process for Middlesex Health,
okay,
and the business development process for Middlesex Health. And so those are two very important aspects of the health system, where we're looking out 3 to 5 years to kind of say, okay, what strategic initiatives are we going to be deploying? And I kind of lead our executive team through that process.
You've got a lot on your plate, Leland.
It's a lot. And honestly, historically, and healthcare has evolved, and I'm sure we'll talk about that quite a bit over the next 30 minutes. But healthcare historically was a lot of clinical people taking care of patients. But health systems have gotten so complex, and the business and strategy around running a health system has evolved so much over the past 15 to 20 years that now most health systems and hospitals have a position, someone like myself that has a business background that helps run some of these non-clinical departments.
So just the non-clinical part, the strategic planning, I get. The business development. Give us an example of because I think people listening would think, what does a hospital need business development for?
Yep, it's a great question. So there are a lot of great ideas that people have at Middlesex Health in terms of how can we bring more services to our community. Should we bring a different type of orthopedic surgeon into Middlesex County because it's an unmet need? We have 3 locations in this one town. Should we consider merging it to save on expenses? Okay. And so the business development group that I help lead, we take a look at, one, how can we grow revenue and also expand their services, but also how can we take a look at our facilities and our locations and find more efficient ways to deliver care in Middlesex County.
Got it. It makes perfect sense. But, so many people look at a term and they have different connotations of that. So let's take a look back, because how long have you been with the hospital, Middlesex Health?
Since 2014.
So in those 11 years, it's like a lot of stuff has changed. Stuff is such a medical term, an official term. So highlights of the changes and then a look forward because you're part of strategic planning. I bet there are Star Wars kind of things coming down the pike for all of us in Middlesex County through you.
Absolutely. It's a great question. And I'll kind of start answering that question just by looking at the state of Connecticut in
Mhm.
general. So the state of Connecticut has approximately 27 or 28 acute care hospitals. And that's a lot of hospitals for such a small geography. And what's happened in Connecticut over the past 10 years is just this, and it's across all healthcare, this tremendous consolidation. And so to date, in the state of Connecticut, there's only 5 remaining independent hospitals that are
Right.
not part of a bigger system. Middlesex Health is one of those independent hospitals. And we've largely been able to stay independent because of our great doctors, our great nurses, our great delivery system, and the great support from the community that stays loyal and comes to Middlesex Health. And you are seeing it right now in the state of Connecticut, there is still further consolidation that's happening. And these larger players, some non-for-profit, some for-profit, are still kind of figuring out the ecosystem in Connecticut.
Mm-hmm.
At Middlesex Health, we've largely been able to continue doing what we've done for over 100 years, but we've changed and we've evolved and we've modernized what we do. And so the first thing that I'll mention, which was kind of a strategic initiative of us, is we rebranded from Middlesex Hospital to Middlesex Health back in 2018. And that rebrand was to let the community know that we're more than just a hospital. We have facilities throughout Middlesex County. We have doctors' offices, urgent cares, cancer centers, diagnostic imaging, labs, all across the county. And we have home care. And that, we wanted the community to know that we're not just one hospital. We are a complete system, and we provide all the care that you and your family need. And so that evolution happened right before COVID. And so before we could even kind of implement a lot of our growth plans, COVID hit and it kind of put everything on pause for a
Sure.
couple of years. And now, and you kind of alluded to it, we're kind of in this major building process right now where we have construction projects going on this campus, the main hospital campus in Middletown. We have a flagship building in Cromwell that's scheduled to open up next month. We've invested in the towns of Old Saybrook, the towns of Madison. We've really kind of strategically looked at the towns that we're in and the markets that we're in. In addition to building facilities, we've recruited a tremendous amount of physicians to be able to care for this community for a long time.
I'm out of breath listening to all the things that you've got on your plate, and I should mention, because I live on the shoreline, we have that wonderful facility in Westbrook that we're so happy to have, and we're blessed to have that. And I have heard many of my friends and neighbors who unfortunately have to go there say we're still blessed that we have that. So is there something that, and first of all, I should take a step back and say I'm really glad that we're independent, because you reflect the community at its best. And that's my biased opinion. Not that I'm in disfavor with other hospitals, but I really am biased about Middlesex Health. So are there things that you see with the technology coming down that all of us read about? And I'm happy to say I know you were one of the first to use AI way back when, that you could give us an inside scoop on?
Yeah, absolutely. And we were, as you mentioned, we're one of the first hospitals in the state to really adopt AI, and we started using it within our radiology department pretty early on. And it was pretty fascinating. We have a clinical relationship with Mayo Clinic. We're in the Mayo Clinic Care Network. And about 2 years ago, they came to us, with this great idea, kind of pitching, hey, we want you to learn a little bit about this AI vendor. We've been using them and they're great, and we think you should look at them. And we were like, we've been with that vendor for 2 years. So we were actually ahead of the rest of the country in Mayo
Surprise.
Clinic with this specific
Right.
vendor. We're an amazing place. We've always had the best technology. whether it was imaging equipment, linear accelerators for cancer care, now AI. We are constantly every single day evaluating what's out there and then bringing a lot of this new technology to Middlesex County.
But let's flip it, and I'll start my next comment with welcome to our board of directors. We're delighted that you'll be joining us at the next meeting. We're very excited about that. But one of your colleagues on our board just emailed me. Unfortunately, she had to go to the Westbrook clinic. So it's not just the technology. Her comments in her email and later text to me were the people. It's all about the people and how wonderful they were to her and how comforting they were to her. So spend a little time talking about your great staff. I know a lot of them, but spend a little time, if you don't mind, talking about them.
Yeah, I'm happy to. And actually, we have a brand new commercial that just started airing this week, actually.
I saw it.
And the main concept in that commercial is, and first and foremost, we put all of our people in the commercial. So it's our doctors, our nurses, there's no actors or actresses. And the whole point of the commercial was, and it was showing our robots and our lasers and our technology. But if you listen to the message of that commercial, it's like, but we still know that there's a human touch in healthcare, and no one delivers care with a greater human touch than Middlesex Health. A lot of it has to do with the fact that many of our providers and nurses live in Middlesex County, and so they're taking care of their friends, their neighbors. There's not a day that goes by in the hospital where there's not someone that's connected to someone that works here. And so you really do feel like you're taking care of your family, taking care of your community, and it's obvious when you receive care here that that's what's happening.
Well, we call that connecting the dots. So you're really good at that. And I have to say, we're really pleased. We at the Community Foundation were able to connect some dots from one of our friends to your cancer center for funding. And we were blessed and honored to go on a tour. That staff at the cancer center was so excited to show off what they do every single day, and you could tell how excited they were to do their job. So congratulations on that.
Yeah, I think Middlesex Hospital mirrors Middlesex County, and whether it's the Community Foundation or the Chamber of Commerce, there's a very palpable sense of pride in where you live and where you work. And that's evident in the work that everyone does. And so I think we're no different than a lot of the other organizations in this community. They kind of share that sense of pride and sense of history. Well, I think the challenge for all of us is, continuing that sense of pride with the next generation of Middlesex County residents. I think that is kind of a challenge that we all face, but we're all embracing.
You're right. And I've run into several young people through our scholarship programs that we've had the opportunity to meet who are going off to college. And a lot of them have said, I really love where I live. I want to come back. So to your point, we need to make sure that there's a really good reason for them to come back. So we'll work on that together.
Absolutely.
Now let's shift. Okay, you don't work 24/7, or maybe that you do. So you give a lot back to the community. So tell us a little bit about what you do outside of work.
Yeah, I am blessed to have 3 beautiful children. So my wife and I live down in Old Saybrook. We have a 10-year-old boy, a 9-year-old boy, and a 5-year-old daughter. They all go to the Old Saybrook school system, which is a great school system. And so a lot of my time in the community right now is volunteering, whether it's coaching basketball, coaching baseball. I'm on every single board down in the town. And that's been a lot of fun for me. And also it constantly reminds me of all of the other parents that are volunteering in their communities, whether it's Old Saybrook, Haddam Killingworth, Westbrook, Essex. This is just a tremendous place for folks to volunteer within their town, whether it's PTAs or sports teams. I think there are a lot of really healthy nonprofit organizations in the county.
Absolutely. And thank you for volunteering, because your kids will remember that you did that. And that should be a sense of pride for you, as well as for you and your wife and your entire family. So the theme of all of our podcasts lately has been the payback for giving back. So here you are volunteering all your time for your kids through the PTAs, et cetera. What would you say to somebody or to a business owner that says, I just don't have time? I just can't find the time to do it because Middlesex Health is very generous with staff time too, in allowing people to, for instance, come to our board meetings during the workday. So what would you say to somebody who says, just can't do it?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think one of the things that I would say is you don't have to, in order to participate or to give back, you don't have to, you know, go to great lengths and spend 40 hours a week and, donate $1 million. There are a lot of little small things that you can do that make a difference, but also show that you're giving back. And so I think some of us get stuck in the, if I can't do it 100 miles per hour, I'm not going to do it. And I think at times you just have to contribute what you can contribute, and it makes a difference for the party that you're helping. So that's kind of my first bit of advice.
Okay, so go for it and then I'll save my comment for later.
Yeah.
What's your second bit?
The second piece is, and this is more career advice than anything, but I'm blessed. So I work for a nonprofit, and part of my job is to help other nonprofit organizations in the county. And so, I think there are opportunities with your career to look for organizations that have a charitable component of what they do. And then you're supplied with endless opportunities to participate. I mean, the amount of nonprofits that I cross paths with, I have so many opportunities afforded to me just by the nature of what I've chosen to do for a living.
And aren't they amazing? Our nonprofits in Middlesex County, and all nonprofits, I think, are worth their weight in gold. And we have a saying here that, a dollar a day makes a difference if you pool your resources. And it's the same with volunteer hours. An hour here pooled with everybody else makes a big difference to all the nonprofits or organizations that you volunteer with.
There's also a payback, two bits of payback when you give your time or give your resources to a nonprofit. I mean, life is hard, life is challenging at times. There are times in your life when you're going to need to rely on other people. And if you've been generous with your time and contributed to what's going on, you're going to get that paid back to you in some form at a time when you need it the most.
Absolutely.
And so it might not be an immediate payback, but you're certainly building a network of supporters out in your community that is really meaningful. The other payback is when you volunteer your time. Let's just say you're a local business and you're giving away a gift certificate for some kind of high school fundraiser. Other people see that you're doing it and they're going to support your local business. And you may never know why they're supporting your business, but it's because they saw your name on that high school fundraiser. And so there is a return on investment from an economics perspective as well.
Well said. Oh my gosh. So the payback, you've summarized everything. Oh my goodness. What question haven't I asked that I should have asked?
So can I interview you? Can I give you one question? Am I
Sure,
allowed to do that in your podcast? So
all right.
my wife has always worked in advancement. She works for Connecticut College down in New London.
Oh, okay.
And so I've always seen or paid attention to kind of the trends with raising money. I'm curious, where do you see, with all of kind of the digital side of fundraising now and the GoFundMe pages and all of that, where do you see fundraising going in Middlesex County? How is it going to evolve over the next generation? What's going to become the standard of how you give?
So I think it's the trust and relationship building that will continue. I don't think that's going to go away, Leland, at all. You said it best when you said something about you take a lot of pride in taking care of your friends and neighbors at Middlesex Health. We at the Community Foundation take a lot of pride in being able to pool donors' dollars and then help our friends and neighbors through the nonprofits. Digitally, yeah, that'll be out there. It will, but it will be one form of giving. That's my 2 cents. Tell
Yeah,
your wife to call me and we can have a really good conversation. I'd love to have that because it would be a different perspective from a college and university to a community organization.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the ways in which you stay connected and build that trust, I think that will evolve a little bit with technology, but I agree with you 100% that at the end of the day, it comes from sitting across the table with someone at, at a community event and kind of having that relationship.
Yeah, and technology is great until it isn't. You know as well as I do that we all get those scam things coming across our desk. And so it's really being able to pick up the phone and go, hey, Leland, do you know anything about this? Tell me, how are you involved kind of thing.
And just to connect this kind of segment to one of our previous segments, that's how we feel about AI is, yes, AI and technology is going to continue to grow in healthcare, but at the end of the day, it's going to be a physician sitting in a room with a patient, taking care of them and explaining, what the next steps are in their care. And that is the most important part of healthcare.
I think you just said it. Technology will augment what we do, but it will never replace the human being. So Leland, is your interview of me over?
Yes, thank you for entertaining me and allowing me to be the host for 30 seconds.
It's my pleasure. You can take my job anytime you want. So what are you looking forward to in the next month or so?
So we have a busy couple of months at Middlesex Health. We are announcing a partnership with Vale, which is a premier soccer club in Middletown. We actually are a big sponsor, and the field over there is going to be Middlesex Health Stadium. So we have a ribbon cutting. We have a ribbon cutting there next week. And also our employees are playing an employee soccer game over there. So we're very excited about that.
Fabulous.
We have our annual meeting of the corporators coming up in October. And we're going to have it at our new building in Cromwell just to kind of welcome that building into the community and let our corporators see the building. And as I mentioned, we just launched a new commercial and marketing campaign. And so we'll continue to kind of tweak it and make some changes to it over the next 6 months. But September and October are extremely busy months in healthcare. There's a lot going on.
Well, you're a very busy person, and I appreciate your taking the time. And thank you for all you do for Middlesex Health and for the entire community. And welcome to our board of directors.
Thank you. I look forward to rolling up my sleeves and joining the board.
Oh, we have a list of things for you.
Great.
Take care.
Take care. Thanks, Cynthia.
Thank you for joining us for this week's episode of Meaningful Mondays. At the Community Foundation of Middlesex County, we know that philanthropy matters and philanthropy works. Together, we support the arts, education, human services, animal welfare, the environment, heritage enhancements, and so much more by providing services, programs, and grants to our local nonprofits. We invite you to learn more and share your passion with us. Visit us at middlesexcountycf.org or contact us at 860-347-0025. Together, we can make great things happen.